What's going on, guys? Lemon here with a Spike Drone 101, all about the reticle of the Spike Drone in Advanced Warfare and how to utilize it properly in your game and how it differs to the previous Call of Duties that we play with. So the first thing we're going to look at is the distance, and like I said in previous Call of Duties, from this distance and on a flat plane like this, the throwing knife or the combat axe would dip if you aimed at that, roughly at that height above the enemy's head. But as the Spike Drone is a launcher, it comes out at a very quick pace and it doesn't drop from a short distance. And with the corrected shot there, you'll see that I aimed just above the opponent's head from that distance, and the Spike Drone didn't even drop, it hit him right on his head there. So from these distances now, instead of aiming 2 or 3 head heights above them, you just want to be aiming it roughly at the player's head. And you can see in this one where it's slightly going uphill, it's about ½ centimeter more just to give it that extra oomph to go up the hill, because like I mentioned, from these short distances the Spike Drone really doesn't drop that much like it has in previous Call of Duties. So taking that into consideration with a longer flat plane shot, you would think maybe to aim roughly at that height, maybe 2 or 3 reticles higher, but that doesn't work at all. What's really odd about the Spike Drone is that from a short distance it really doesn't have any sort of loop or arc, but from a long distance shot it has one of the biggest arcs in Call of Duty with a throwing weapon. So you'll see that I'm aiming probably 6 or 7 reticle heights above the enemy's head for it to drop, which is probably double the distance from the shots that I was showing you previously in this tutorial, but it does take that extra 6 or 7 head heights, which is really strange. Now with aiming up or down a hill with the Spike Drone, it does take into consideration the 2 techniques that I've just shown you. So with up a hill, it does the non-loop effect, so you want to aim probably at 2 reticles higher just to give it that extra push up the hill to make it. And with the downhill shots, we're seeing that loop effect, so you're going to be aiming maybe 2 or 3 reticles higher, obviously not 6 or 7 from this height, as you are up a hill and they are down a hill, so gravity will take into effect. But the reticle for the Spike Drone in this game does take a lot to get used to, and even in this clip here where I was trying for another tutorial like shot, I thought maybe I should be aiming this much higher, that's 6 or 7 reticles higher there, and I did overshoot it, but it is because of the downhill. So I've put it to about 2 or 3 there, and it's worked nicely with the gravity taking it down the hill. Now a separate issue with the reticle in Advanced Warfare is the comparison that it has to the Black Ops 2 knifing hitbox that we've all experienced in Black Ops 2, and how difficult it was to succeed in knifing and tomahawking in Black Ops 2. And we're seeing a lot of the same things and similarities with the Spike Drone and the knifing in Advanced Warfare. I'm sure you guys have experienced it. These clips here, and I'm going to slow them down in a second, from about 2 hours of gameplay tonight, where I simply set out to see how many of these sort of Black Ops 2 comparison moments I could find. Ended up getting about 12 or 13, so it's basically where the Spike Drone or your knife just lunges straight through the body of your opposition. So basically in Black Ops 2 we saw it with the tomahawk, we saw it with all the knives, we saw it with ballistic knives especially, we saw it with the combat knife, and it's exactly the same in this game. I'm finding that I'm lunging straight at people's faces with either the combat knife or attack knife or my Spike Drones, and it's the same with the boomerangs. When you're pulling the boomerangs back, a lot of the time it doesn't work, and this one especially was pretty terrible, where there were 2 knife lunges and then he hits me with a punch, which I also find very bad with the hit detection. Again, there in the tunnel, there's no way that I couldn't have pulled off even maybe a double kill there. But with saying that, it does create a very big distinction between the everyday knifers and the skilled and clever knifers that come through in these sort of Call of Duties. So in Black Ops 2 we saw a very big distinction between the everyday knifers and the skilled knifers, and it did create a bit of a barrier between these 2 players, and it's kind of good for the community. I think that it's very hard to get these sort of skilled feeds and these skilled boomerangs, and that's what this game does, and that's what Black Ops 2 did to the community. Whereas games like Call of Duty Ghosts or Modern Warfare 3 or other Modern Warfares, it was a lot easier to be a knifer. But it is interesting to see how all these different Call of Duties from different game developers all have very different knifing reticle hitboxes, and how they affect the game and they affect the players and the knifers in the community. And in saying all this, I'm actually really loving Advanced Warfare. I'm loving the Spike Drone. As much as I miss bank shotting, I'm really loving the boomerangs. As much as all this stuff sucks and the Black Ops 2 moments are back for us as a community, it does suck in that respect, but I am loving Advanced Warfare, and I hit my first quad the other day, and it's actually my first quad in any Call of Duty. I know I'm not really a feeder, but I hit my first quad on Momentum gameplay. I was stoked with that, and you'll be seeing that in the dual-tage that I'm doing with that Shax that is actually on our channel at the end of the week, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled for that one. As you know that Mushroom is in America, so that Shax is filling in for him, and I'm going to be doing a dual-tage with that Shax, so some really epic clips in that. So that's been a Throwing Knife 101, just about the reticle, how to use it in this game, and how frustrating it can be at times. But keep your eyes out for our channel, it's going to be blowing up lately, so love you guys, and see you later, bye.